Hi, Wura. How are you?
Hello.
Thank you so much for doing this.
No
This is part
problem.
of the series that I'm running where I'm just talking to people that have been successful this year, in their journey, their relocation journey, and then just breaking into the Canadian market. And I think you are one of those really amazing success stories. So
Really? Okay.
yes, yes, yes. So I'm very excited to speak with you, and thanks again for doing this. It
Okay.
will be quick. I don't want to take too much of your time. I know you're a very busy person, doing what you do. But very briefly, just introduce yourself. Tell us who you are. What have you done, in the past before relocating to Canada?
Okay. All right. Thank you, Kes. I'm happy to be here. I was just thinking to myself that Kes is really important to me.
To get
And
you
I
out
have
of
to
the
do
zone.
this. Yeah.
I appreciate it for sure.
Okay, so my name is Wuraola. I'm a professional accountant of many years, about two and a half decades to be exact. Over my career, I've developed proficiency in management accounting, financial accounting, financial reporting, internal controls, enterprise risk management, and so on, the
Different.
works.
Mm-hmm.
I'm also a fellow chartered accountant from my home country of many years. I mean, I've been a fellow chartered accountant for many years. That's what I meant by that.
Mm-hmm.
From Nigeria. And in addition to that, I have some accounting designations, professional accounting designations from the United Kingdom as well. The Chartered Institute of Management Accountants and the Chartered Global Management Accountant designation, excuse me.
Mm.
So yeah, in a nutshell, that's me and my professional
Very,
background.
yeah, very, very impressive. And
Yeah.
I recall the very first conversation that we had, and you told me about yourself, which is what I always try to do, hear about people's background. And I was like, wow, your background is very impressive. And I didn't see any problems with you, trying to make the switch. And I mean, look at you today. So
Thank you.
before get into the next question, I think um I want you to quickly tell us, I just kind of touched on it. We had, our encounter throughout the year. You reached out, you took a program with me, and then you sort of found your bearing. So can you tell me a little bit about that experience? Not me, well, the viewers. Tell them
Okay.
that experience. What was it like just, working with us and finally getting to the point that you are today?
Okay. Well, I recently relocated permanently, I would say, to Canada, um, July of this year. Before then, I shuttled for like a year between Nigeria and Canada, back and forth. It took a while before I made that decision,
Yeah.
to basically do it permanently.
Mhm.
And part of the things that I did, was planning, basically evaluating what I had, at that time, and how, those skills and experience will fit into the Canadian labor market. I was fortunate to stumble on a YouTube program. I think can't remember who
I
it
think it
was, but
was
you were the guest.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so I was like, okay, business analysis. This sounds interesting. Let me just contact you, and then we'll see how I can,
Mhm,
make the best of what you have to offer.
mhm.
And yeah, I think we hit it off like immediately when I
Yes.
contacted you. I recall that first conversation and all that. And, it was a very good experience because you really opened my eyes to what the possibilities could be. Like I said, I've been a professional accountant for like 25 years, and that's basically what I've always done.
Yeah.
However, I've also used all kinds of software, accounting software, day-to-day Microsoft software, to get the job done.
Mhm,
I've also developed processes,
mhm.
provided solutions for different teams within my organization back then.
Which are
And
all of the
so,
skills that you were able to transfer to your new role.
exactly. So you open my eyes to those transferable skills. And one thing that resonated with me when, we hit it off was you said as a BA, all you need to do is change your perspective from a user perspective to like a solution provider. In this case, a BA,
Yeah.
right? It's still the same software that you've used as a user, but rather than, and mind you, as a user, you have serious experience
Yes. Yes.
in
In
basically
depth.
using that
Yeah.
software. You know, you are like a SME, you
Mm-hmm.
know, using the software. So who better to actually,
Yeah.
you know, be
Mm-hmm.
the BA for
That's
like the
right.
deployment of a similar software elsewhere. So, I mean, I had used SAP over the years for like
Mm-hmm.
donkey years. And so I saw that that would be like a possible comfort zone to start
Yeah.
with as a
Yeah.
BA, you know, having developed so much experience using it. You know, it's an
Over the
ERP,
years.
and I'd used various
Mm-hmm.
modules within that ERP. And, you know, so that basically opened my eyes to the possibilities. And, you know, yeah.
Amazing.
Um, so
Amazing.
I don't know if I if I've answered your question. So basically, I took the training, which by the way was like a crash course,
Mm-hmm.
and but it was loaded and it touched on the relevant areas, you know, the things that I really needed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then I started job hunting after
Mm-hmm.
I took that, you know, decision to
Yeah.
basically come here permanently. Yeah, as luck would have it, I got a good role, a very, very.
Even just touch on that a bit. I recall
Mhm.
that, you did that interview and there were certain things they asked you during the interview. And when we were just, touching base afterwards, you were like, okay, there were all of these things that you kind of brought from the class and you were able to craft your responses based on, what they were looking for. So can you just quickly tell us about that as well?
Okay, so you know, it's all about the solution mindset.
Yeah.
Whatever interview, whatever job you're applying for,
Yeah.
um, hiring managers, organizations want solution providers.
Right.
So basically, that was what I did. You know, the training made, you know, basically made me realize that, look, it's all about providing solutions.
Yeah.
We all play different roles in
That's right.
providing those solutions, right? And so what I did in a nutshell was whatever the question was,
You took that.
I brought it back to providing solutions, talking about some of the software that, you know, I had used in the past.
Mm-hmm.
I think there was a question that went into, yeah, I used the SDLC at some point to even, yeah, respond to some
Stress
questions,
that,
because what I originally applied for was like a bridge between continuous improvements,
role.
was like a continuous improvement role for like an accounting team,
Right.
right?
Okay.
So it had to do with implementing RPAs and
Mm-hmm.
stuff like that. And
Mm-hmm.
so my knowledge from
That,
your class
mm-hmm.
actually came in handy because,
Mm-hmm.
you know, there was a question, I think they wanted to test what I had done,
How do you
even though
really
I had
know?
played some of those roles in the past, but you know, you
Yeah.
basically brought it together and I was able to
Yeah.
tie it together and, you know, really summarize and answer those questions. Yeah.
Very
Yeah.
nice.
But at the end of the day, you know, I got a different role.
Yeah.
I
And
actually got a
and
role that I was not interviewed for, you know, and
yeah.
that's in itself is another
And that's why I
miracle.
say I think your story was like what was mind blowing. I'm not gonna say the amount here, obviously, but when you told me, I'm like, what? Okay, this has to be like the biggest thus far. And I'm not surprised because look at your background. You came with a wealth of experience, and that's what I try to encourage professionals. You've done this thing, played multiple roles, you've led teams. Why do you want to let that go to waste? You shouldn't let it go to waste. Somehow you can always transition all of that knowledge and still get paid, really well in the new country that you find yourself. So
Right.
kudos to you for sure. Quickly, one last, maybe two last questions. What advice would you give to someone who is new to the country, trying to relocate, trying to figure out what do I do? How do I do this? What is that one advice you would give to them?
Hmm. One advice.
Or
The
two.
advice must be loaded, though.
Or two or three.
Okay, I mean, the first thing is to plan. You gotta plan. You got to plan, you got to prepare, and you have to research. So if you're thinking about relocating, you have to think about, okay, so what do you have? What do you
Mm-hmm.
have today? I mean, what are your qualifications? What experience do you have? Are they relevant to where you're relocating to? Um, are, are the qualifications recognized? Do
Mm-hmm.
you have transferable skills?
Yeah, yeah.
You know, and I will say that, like I may have mentioned it before, in the course of having this conversation with you today. One way to actually make yourself more marketable is to think about applying tech to your profession, because tech is here to stay.
Yeah,
And I think that business analysis is really like a very easy pathway to achieve that,
yeah,
because let's face it, we're all professionals from different walks of life.
yeah.
We've all used various software before. We've
Mm,
administered processes. Some people have even had the opportunity of developing processes.
that's right.
That's really business
That is
analysis.
it. Yeah.
In this case, you're not the user now, you're the like a
Exactly.
member of the project team. You're
Mm,
actually like the bridge
that's
between the user and the development team, so to say,
mhm.
to actually deploy that solution that the user really needs. So, I mean, you're a SME in your area, whether you're an accountant, you're an HR
Whatever.
professional,
Yes, yes,
whatever it is,
yeah,
And so I will say also look for an area like a comfort zone that you can start with. Like
yeah.
for me, because I had used SAP for a long time,
Understood.
and by
Yeah.
the way, I'd been involved in the deployment of various SAP versions and upgrades
Mm-hmm.
in my
Mm-hmm.
organization prior to relocating. So I knew about those stuff. But
Mm-hmm.
even if you've not been like
Involved in the project.
involved in the
Yeah. You
deployment
were
of
a
some
user.
of those. You're a user, right? So you know the ins and outs of how the software works. I mean, that will be like a comfort zone to start with before you now, pivot into other, BA
Mm-hmm.
roles and all
Mm-hmm.
that. And one thing that I would say that you do very well is that the hand holding. I mean, you're so patient. One key takeaway for me from the training and getting to connect with you and all that
Mm-hmm.
was you were so patient. The course was really well tailored to the needs of the participants.
Mm.
No frills, but the relevant stuff. Like I
Yeah.
said, it was more like a crash course, right? But the relevant stuff and relatable.
Yeah.
So, I mean, one of the things that you told us to do was to think about doing projects in our field, our area of expertise, which, like
Mm-hmm.
I said, SAP in my
Yeah.
own case. So and then even offer after sales service. After sales service, yes. And by that, what I mean is even after you actually guide and coach
Yeah.
your clients to
Yeah.
get that job. And after getting the job, you don't leave them alone, because you give us instances where people call you,
Yeah.
oh, hey, I
Yeah.
need help. They've
Yeah.
started the job. There will be those stealing issues,
Of
definitely. A
course.
new
Yeah.
environment,
Yeah.
new role, new company,
Questions must
and
pop up.
everything.
Yeah.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
you're there to guide, which is uncommon, and
Yeah.
makes you stand out from the pack. So,
Okay.
good.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Yeah, that was kind of like my next question, but you touched on it.
Oh, okay.
Because, there are a lot of people there's a lot of information online. People are doing different things, but I always say, my people are my people, right? And I don't want to be for everybody. I
Yeah.
want to connect with you and then build that. For me, it's all about a relationship and see you. Like, I'm friends with a lot of my students at the end of the day.
Mhm.
You are a prime example. You are my big sis now. Like I said, So that's what I really want, a good success story, not just, rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat. It's really more a relationship for me. So I appreciate you for sure. I'm sure you know that. I appreciate everything. I
Definitely.
appreciate the time you've taken today to do this. And I wish you all the best. This
Thank
is the
you.
beginning. I know this
Thank
is the
you.
beginning. Maybe one day you come and hire me, give me contract.
Ah, okay.
All right. Thank you
Thank you
again
so
and have
much.
a
Yeah.
good rest of your day.
And you too. Take
All
care.
right. Take
Bye-bye.
care. Bye now.